Hello friends, welcome to another episode. Today we are going to discuss about a real project management related interview. If you are applying for a project coordinator role, what kind of question you will face and what is the best answer for those type of question. I'll also share some ordinary answer and also compare what could be the professional answer of the same question. Then that will be interesting to learn more about project management, and you will realize how to prepare for this kind of interview. First of all, it is necessary when you are facing an interviewer, do a little bit more study about the company and job role, and on the interview day prepare yourself like presenting as a professional. It depends on your dress code, your presentation, smile, mindset, and all those things. Apart from this, generally interviewers will generally the employer will try to understand you as a person first, and he is not going to ask you, tell me what is the definition of project management, what is project. Generally, in a in an interview, when you are an experienced guy, they are not going to ask you this kind of question. So first question will be like this. Tell me a little bit about your experience in project management, and particularly say you are in a particular domain. Let us take an example of software development domain. So tell me about your little bit experience about your uh, project management, particularly in software development. So generally, when you are not prepared and you are answering it very ordinary and casually, so answer is like that: okay, I first collect the requirement, prepare the SRS document, and then outline the deliverable, and then stakeholder approve these, and then I kick off the meeting, then I do all those scope analysis with my team, and then I execute the project. And if there is any issue during the project, I communicate with this, and at closer phase I just verify that all the item that were in the scope is delivered. Nothing wrong in this answer. Is really a project manager does this similarly, but it is not a professional answer. Why? Because it doesn't sounds like academically you have studied what is the best practices of project management. So the impression is not that level at the beginning, because you have just described what is your day-to-day function. Then actually, what is a professional answer for this kind of question? Okay, so first you can describe that I have like 5 years of experience or 10 years of experience, whatever is your experience level, and don't emphasize on the experience first. Instead of emphasizing on experience, tell it like this way: like over the past 5 years, I have gained extensive experience in project management with a particular focus on software development project. So see, in this first line, you are focusing on the software development part, because the hiring manager want to hire a guy who is particularly expert in his domain or their company's domain. So again, you also add that my role has involved overseeing the entire software development lifecycle, from initial requirement gathering and planning and development and post-launch support. Here in single sentence, you defined all the phases of software development. I have successfully managed both agile and waterfall project, tailored in the approach that fit for specific need of the project and the team. So you are also emphasizing on what kind of methodology you have applied in your project. Now you can see the previous answer is improved here. Here you specifically inform where you are focused. You also informing you are aware of the software development lifecycle. You are also emphasizing the kind of methodologies that you apply. Of course, there is no need to camera this answer just when you are answering. Be cautious what you are saying during the conversation. Now you can also add, you can keep your conversation little longer so that the interviewer gets some little bit of interest on you. So you can say, in software development, I work closely with a cross-functional team, including developer, tester, designer, and business analyst, to ensure that the project meets the goals and the deliverables, and stakeholders are satisfied with the output. Now, one of the key responsibility has been meeting the gap, or building or working as a bridge between the gap of technical and non-technical team. Here you can say, I work as a Lisbon between the technical and non-technical team and translate the business requirement into product specification. So here I also boil down the actionable tasks relevant to this project. So I am very good at documentation as well. So you are describing your day-to-day function in a separate style, in a different style, so that the employer is getting some sort of potential on your story. Because nowadays people believe in story, and if you tell your story like a storyteller, then there is a kind of hook to longer this conversation. Otherwise there is no point to waste their time and your time, because they want someone very professional who can quickly answer the problem, who can quickly solve the problem. So you can also add that I manage the project that involve building new applications from scratch, as well as enhance and maintains the existing system. So I'm good at integration. That means I understand the existing system and I can add new feature based on the existing system. So throughout the project I emphasize on the importance of clear communication and mitigate any kind of conflict. I'm very proactive in risk management. So by focusing the collaborative environment using tools like Jira, Trello, Asana, I manage my day-to-day tasks. I have been involved in project management for high quality software building, and that is agreed to the time frame and the budget. So what I am trying to say, that I am always cautious about the scope, time, and budget. So these are the three major constraints of project management that we have learned in the previous class. If you have missed the previous class, then check out the full course project management for tailor for the entry-level professional. So previous video was a little longer, it is smaller. So this is how you are going to answer your first question with an impression that you are really knowledgeable and experienced in this particular field. So you can also add that my experience in software development and project management has taught me importance of flexibility, as project involves some unforeseen challenges, which is very common in any project, because you are not going to get a ready-made product that will fit into the customer need and you are just going to sell it, because customer is coming to you as a project manager because they need some unique product, and by definition projects are unique endeavors. So you are going to solve an unforeseen challenge and you are ready for any kind of challenge at any moment. So whether it is addressing some technical doubt, managing scope changes, or ensuring the team motivation, I committed to finding solution and keep the project moving forward and align to the overall business strategy. So that is the answer of your first question. Now you compare what was the previous answer, and now if you can deliver everything in precisely from the first question, then it will provide a better impression. And remember that when you are preparing for 100%, probably you will perform like 50%. Nothing harm. Be prepared for 100%. If you can perform at least 70 to 80% when you are answering the question, that will impress the employer, because they are looking forward for a person who is very much professional and know the industry very well, and you will get an answer. Okay, that is impressive. Now what is next question? So next question would be like, could you walk through the approach to manage a typical software development project, and for a very fast space environment or a very short deadline? Like, just the interviewer will try to understand how you think the process, like they want to know your thinking process. So an ordinary answer, let me tell you an ordinary answer of the same question. I'm just repeating the question once again. Like, the employer want to know the process, how you develop a software. That's it. An ordinary answer is like that: when I get a new request, I just write a scope and send the scope for approval. Then the client sign off, okay, we are happy with this scope, let's do the tasks. And then if the cost and time frame agree, then we deliver the tasks. And in the meantime, if there is any change, then we again go to client, okay, we need a new changes, then give us more money so that we can do the rest of the tasks. Is that sound good? I think okay, fine, very good, you can do this. But that is not a professional answer of this kind of question. Let's see what is a good answer of this question. So first of all, realize that you are describing your experience here. You are not exactly telling the process, like an ordinary new graduate know how project managements are done in a industry. So as a professional, you can say, okay, thank you, I'm happy to walk through the process of a typical project management for software development. So I'll tell you the initialization to delivery, and the process are like this. So what is first process? So first process is project initiation. So initiation is a very complex part of the project and very significant part of the project. So first of all, I identify the stakeholders and their engagement in this project. So at the very beginning, I identify the stakeholders and how they are engaged in this project. What is their expectation? Maybe they are the people who want to solve a problem and it is like a pain for them. So asking question about these, understanding the business goal, and asking them specific question relevant to their business, that is very important for a software project manager, software development project manager. That means the person is just preparing like for an interview for every project. Like he is researching on the company's requirement, company's goal about this software, and finding out who is the stakeholder. And this involves setting up an initial meeting. An initial meeting is like a discussion about the project purpose. It is not discussing about what is your budget, how much money you have for buying this software, how many people you need. No, it is just understanding the scope and objective of the software. That is very important. Next, when at the first meeting you understood the requirement and the scope and the objective, then it is time to define the scope. When you are defining scope, the stakeholders are not sitting in front of you. So you, as a project manager, clearly understanding the stakeholders' requirement and also working on defining the scope. And here you are including all the deliverable of this project in a piece of paper that may be 1 page long or a 5 page long. It depends on the complexity of the project. So here some of these requirement are like your assumption. So you need approval of the stakeholder that those assumptions are correct, and you also need to define why this is your assumption and why it is helpful for solving the business problem. So you can say like this: so once I am clear about the stakeholder requirement and goal, then I prepare a the boundary of the project. So as it is a tutorial of project management, so I'm explaining the answer so that you can understand it. You will prepare your answer, no doubt. So here you are defining the scope on a piece of paper. You are writing about your assumption. Maybe those assumptions are not relevant to the project requirement, but you have some logic behind that why you this is relevant. And you are also thinking about the feasibility study here, whether it is possible within your resource. Probably you are leading a team, your team has some sort of capability, so in that case you need to be aware of the capability of your team, and it is necessary to prepare a business case or project charter to present the stakeholder for approval. So this is the initial stage of a software development project. Next is planning. Initiation and planning are pretty much similar, but at planning stage you are collaborating with the business analyst. So business analysts are a different kind of teammate who are very much clear about how to gather the business requirement from the client. Of course you have that skill as a project manager, but when you are in a big team and working with a business analyst, he will conduct multiple meeting and he will do some iteration of his assumption on the document. So probably the business analyst will provide you some additional information. So for that you have to understand how he is defining the user stories. As a administrator, what are the function will be there? As a customer, what are the function will be there? So the business analyst will present some sort of functional specification in his document. So that is the requirement gathering phase after the initial meeting. At the initial meeting you are not exactly talking about all the functions. You are trying to understand what is his pain point and what kind of problem he is going to solve. At the planning phase, you are hiring a business analyst, or your business analyst is conducting some meeting with the team and he is preparing a functional specification, and you are closely working with the business analyst as a project manager. Now it is time to develop a kind of WBS breakdown. So what is the meaning of WBS breakdown? It is like work breakdown structure. So you can say I develop a WBS breakdown to the project in small manageable tasks, and I also help the team to keep them aligned to the project goal. And then I also plan how these schedule will be conducted, like who is going to work on first week, second week, third week, or at what stage for what module. So scheduling the resource is also part of the planning. So I use some software like Microsoft Project or Jira, so for including the milestone of various tasks, and I also analyze the task dependency. Now task dependency is something like the first feature is very important for conducting the development of second feature. So when you are talking with the business analyst, or your team, you will understand that which task is connected to task B. Maybe task A is connected to task C. So without completing A, you cannot start the next one. So here you also plan some sort of risk management. So what kind of risk management, potential risks you can face during the project execution? So you have a plan for this, maybe a document is there, and how you are going to address those risk point, that is also mentioned in the risk planning. And you are also presenting a communication plan to the stakeholder. Why? Because communication is a very important factor in any project execution. So at the planning stage, you are basically providing 3 or 4 different planning document to the stakeholder. Number one is like I already told. The number one is the requirement gathering. It includes what are the function that will be available in the project. Number two, the breakdown, how this project will be executed part by part. Number three, what kind of software you are going to use for managing the communication and the scheduling. Like your team will log into Jira and they will see what are the tasks allocated for them or scheduled for them, and what is the time frame for completing those tasks. So here you are also analyzing the risks planning is there. You are also giving a clear picture how the communication will be done, like where the stakeholder is going to raise a ticket when they are finding some issue at the in a project or in a live server on a or in a testing server. So you are maintaining all those things here. Now the next stage is the project execution. So you will get like 10 minutes time to explain all those things, because 10 minutes or 5 minutes time for explaining all those things. You don't need to be very specific, very explaining kind of nature when you are answering this. Just try to address them, that you understand those stages. Now the next stage is project execution. In project execution, you have to remember that your collaboration with team is very important. Why? Because when team is facing any kind of problem or doubt, they will reach you as a project manager, and they will ask for a help or advice or suggestion, and you are constantly monitoring their tasks, whether by the day end they are completing their tasks or not. That is very important. Number two is that you have to do some sort of daily stand up or regular meeting to motivate your team and address their roadblocks. Probably they are facing some sort of issue in terms of solving a API related problem or coding related problem. You have to address them. And quality assurance is the part that you simultaneously do when there is a project execution is going on. So for that, you regularly do a meeting with your QA team. Maybe 2 person is doing the testing or someone is leader there. So ask them what kind of problem they are facing. So it involves whether they are doing the unit test, whether they are doing some kind of integration test, what kind of user acceptance test they are conducting, what is their test report. So you have to monitor them, that the execution phase is running very well, and you are addressing all sort of issues very promptly. That means you are totally open for any kind of question or problem that is coming on your way for executing the project. So that is the execution phase. And monitoring control, I already told you that it is a simultaneous process during the monitor. If you can keep a kind of record performance tracking during this phase, like how this my budget is going on, whether the budget index is in a direction that is going to fail, or budget is just limited. So you have to keep an eye on your budget. So that is a very key performance index here. And look at your schedule, whether the schedules are going to face any sort of variation, whether the schedules are whether the resource are taking leave, or they have any problem in near future that is going to hamper your project. So you have to use a kind of dashboard or report. So nowadays many tools can create those dashboard, whether you are using Jira, Asana, or any other project management tool like Microsoft Project. You can create your own dashboard where you can see those key performance index on day-to-day basis, like right from day beginning and day end. And you have to keep a document for change requested or change management. When you will show the product in a staging URL, like the customer is just viewing it, where what is the progress, they will raise a ticket. Okay, we don't like this feature, we need a little bit of change here. And you have to keep all those change requests, and then you have to verify that whether these changes are aligned to the scope, or whether they are requesting something more. And here it is very important to start any new feature. You have to take approval from the stakeholder, or if you want to stop any feature, you also need to inform the stakeholder that we are not going to add that feature because of XYZ reason. So that is very important. And monitoring the risks, because at the planning stage you had listed some sort of risks, that these are the risks that may go wrong during the project execution. So you have to check that whether those are checked or not. And the next thing is the project delivery and closure. So at project delivery and closure, it is the final testing and deployment time. So here you need to observe that the delivery was very smooth and there was seamless transition between the existing system to the new system. Generally projects are like upgrading an existing system to a new system, or they were in a very traditional system and you are converting it to a digital mode. So this transition must be smooth, like on a delivery date, like when it is time to transfer the or hand off the project to the client. It is a very serious moment, and you have to look at the production environment. You have to talk with the DevOps teams who are going to implement in their live server, and the focus is maintaining a very smooth transition during the delivery. So you also need a very good approval from the stakeholder. Okay guys, we are going to launch the site or launch the application on this time. And sometimes when you are working in a global environment, like somebody is working for you from India and US or Europe, you have to understand their time frame, their geographical position. Otherwise it will be a chaos, or it will be a chaotic moment. So you have to be very prepared for those things. Documentation and is very important. Always write down in pen and paper, voice note, like conversation, video call. These are actually not so helpful when it is a matter of verification of your product during the closure stage, because you cannot say, okay, on a Zoom call on that date you told me to remove this part and that's why I removed that part. This is not correct. You have to document it on your Jira or Asana or whatever software you are using, so that there is a record that based on this conversation, based on that incident, we change the scope or we change these matters. So that is very important. And after the implementation of a project, it is very important to train the end user, and it is also part of project manager. Probably in a big project there are some dedicated people who can train the stakeholder, but when you are working in a small organization, suppose you have developed a food ordering system for a small coffee shop, and the coffee shop's barista or the end a person who is just taking the order, he is facing a lot of trouble on this software because you have not trained that person how to maintain the register or how to take the order. So as a project manager, you have to sit with this end user sometimes and talk with this person, what are the problem you are facing, what we can do to make it better or make it more user friendly. So here it is very important to review the implementation, take the feedback from the customer, whether they are happy with this product or what kind of change they want to improve it, so that in version 2 we can do a little bit of improvement in this software. So that is the way a project closer done here. Documentation, planning, risk management, scope management all play together, and that is how I work through a project. Now you can compare the difference between the first answer and the second answer, how the second answer is so detailed. As a professional, you are sharing your experience when you are answering this, and that is also like a structural approach of thinking, like you have some abstract idea of different part of project, different part of software development, and this is how you are going to answer the question. The next question is, thank you for sharing your details. If you can short your answer like within 5 or 6 minutes, you can complete it, that is fine, and of course you need a little bit of preparation for that. So next question is, how do you handle a situation where project scopes change midway through the development process? So if you answer the previous question very detailed, in very details, probably employer is not going to ask you this question, as long as he or she is not a HR person who has a list of questions from internet and just viewing them and asking you the question. If the interviewer is a real project manager, he has the experience and he's going to be your next boss, then he is not going to ask you the question, because in the previous question you have already explained the process, and if there is a change in the midway, then you know how to handle this because you are managing the change management and all those things. But the question is that some HR guys are like that, they have a set of questions, they will ask you the same question again and again, like do you have experience in PHP, or then do you have experience in Java, how many years of experience, do you have experience in MS Office, then how many years of experience. Now how can I tell the HR manager, okay, I am using MS Office for last 20 years? So this kind of situation may happen when you are searching job and taking interview. Anyway, so this is the way to answer a question like how you are going to do the change management. So changes are always welcome. Okay, so when there is a change, I have to align that whether this change is within the scope. If somehow it is within the scope and it is actually for meeting the exact requirement of the client that we promise, then we have to deliver this change without any further cost or any additional cost. Otherwise, it is essential to carefully take the changes, because sometimes accepting a change is going to change your time frame. If it change your time frame, then it will be a problem for your budget and client, you cannot meet the deadline. That is very important. So first make an assessment of the change. So assessment of the change is very important here. You have to double check with the stakeholder that this change is reasonable, and what is the urgency of this change. Is it possible to make this change later after completing the project at another milestone, or in um, uh, another version or another sprint. So talk with the stakeholder, maybe they will find a solution about this. Then if there is a formal change request, then document this change. That is very important. And also do some sort of impact analysis. Impact analysis means you are conducting a kind of brainstorming session with stakeholder that includes the scope, time frame, and resource. You are aware of all those things, and now you are asking a simple question: what is the impact is going to happen because of this new addition? If we are not doing it right now, then what will happen to your business? And the impact, if the impact is a little bit serious and it is really meaningful, makes sense for both sides, then take a decision. Okay, we are going to make this change, and for that we are going to reduce some sort of work from our previous scope. So there should be a good approval process for this change, and you have to control this change request based on the impact analysis. And when there is a change, there is a necessity of adjustment in the planning. Suppose you have planned to visit for to a park, and somehow there was a rain, so you are not able to visit the park because there is a rain. Now what is the next change you are going to do to arrange that party? So you will probably arrange that party or get together inside your home, where there will be some changes that you want to arrange the same party. So something is like that. You have to make a alternative plan which is going to solve the purpose, but because of this situation you need to revise the schedule, revise the budget, and you have to do a lot of communication for that. Is it possible to defer the deadline because of this change? Ask this question to the stakeholder. Okay, stakeholders can say, okay, we can defer the deadline like 1 week for this change. Then this is how you have to mitigate the risks. You have to and then for this you have to look at burn down the your team's work hour, how they are performing, what is their day-to-day workload, all those things, and do not compromise with quality because of this change. Okay, so ensure that you are thoroughly maintaining the quality at all stage of the delivery, and if there is any issue arise, then address them promptly and take without any delay. So a continuous monitor of the process actually make the changes very smooth, because change without change, if a project is going on and stakeholder is not giving their feedback, sometimes it is also not good for the product. And if stakeholders are involved in the project, like they are regularly giving you some input, that is helpful. And always try to learn lesson from the previous work that you have done. It is very important when you are accepting some new changes. So sometimes one new change request actually divert your goal a little bit. So in that case, it is necessary to confirm that with your stakeholder. If you can address that, okay, you are now asking me a change which is not aligned to the overall goal of the project, you have to articulate it to the stakeholder. And in this is the way you can control the scope of the project, and you can deliver it on time, within budget, and within your resource. So whenever a change is coming at the midway of the project, take it seriously, do the one task one by one, and you can manage this change properly. Now, the next question is, that is definitely a solid approach. The next question is, can you tell an example of a challenging project and that you manage and how you overcome these challenges? Very common question for all project management related job, because it fits for any role, whether you are doing it for a construction company or doing it for a software. The question is same. Can you give us an example where it was a challenging project and you manage it, how you manage it, and how you overcome these challenges? So let us first try to listen an ordinary answer, how generally ordinary project managers answer this. So ordinary answer is like that. I was working in an e-commerce project. There was a very new payment gateway integration. My developers were not aware of the API related documents. I researched the API related documents and delivered them on the solution on time. That is how I manage the challenges. Okay, the answer is not wrong, not very much correct. So what is a professional answer? So professional answer is like that. I would like to share an example project where I manage several significant challenges, and this is how I overcome them. So first, let me tell you the background of the project. I was managing a legacy customer management system. So it was a CRM system on cloud platform, and it was a financial service related client. So you can understand the significance of the data privacy and data integration. So our goal was to enhance the performance of this system and scaling it and maintaining the security or making it more uh, secured. So at the same time, client was also looking for an uninterrupted service. That means when we are we are making a transition from the legacy system to the new version, there will be no interruption. So the project was very challenging for our team. So and it was a deadline based project. Now see the difference. So in this example, you are showing the importance of the project. You are showing the complexity of the project using simple examples. Now what are the challenges? The challenges was this, the time frame was very short, and you are going to maintain a deadline there. You are also telling that it is a very complex project in terms of data migration, because you are sending data, you are moving data from one system to another system, and you are also emphasizing on the integration of existing system. And the biggest challenge is zero downtime requirement. How can you transfer from one system to another system and the end user is even not knowing that the system is totally changed? So definitely this is a big challenge for any software development team. Now here the project is very aggressive in nature. The client is very much aggressive in terms of maintaining their security and their data integration. So any delay in this kind of work will definitely create a kind of compliances issue, and your company may be in a position to face some sort of trouble to for managing such project. So data migration need a special kind of resources who are aware of this kind of technology. So as a project manager, you are not going to take the responsibility of doing these tasks with your technical capability. You have to depend on a team who is expert in this particular field. And when you are dealing with a legacy system and moving it to a new system, the migration will definitely face a different kind of integration issue. Now the question is that when the project was started, did you analyze all those risk factors as a project manager during preparing your document? That is very important. If you already prepared a risk analysis document for this kind of situation earlier, that is going to helpful for you for facing those challenges. Now, generally, what happened in real life scenario, migration of a data is managed by a team where you have data engineers, and these kind of applications are customer facing application. For example, it is an application of a utility bill software, like they are selling gas or electricity in a particular city. Every member of every customer is viewing this application on day and night. So there are some third party APIs that are also involved in this kind of application. So as a project manager, you understand that architecture. You have studied the architecture, what are the third party APIs are involved in this application, and how it is going to function in the new application. Do you have any production version where all the facilities or all the functions were properly working and it is tested? So you are ensuring the integration was flawless and without any disruption. The service is continuing and any customer is not facing any kind of trouble due to this transaction. So that is like a zero downtime requirement, and it is possible if a project manager do all the risk analysis first and hire the right kind of resource who can do this transaction very well, and uh, you you have given the real importance to this work, and you have maintained the integrity, data integrity. There was no loss of data, like during the transition there was no loss of any payment, any financial transaction. So you can take some precaution option, like you choosing a time which is not a peak hour. That means the number of traffic is very low, very few number of users are using that time. And what was your migration strategy? You have informed the client like this is the technology we are using, and it is a very industry standard form of data migration, where you are doing all sort of data mapping, cleaning and transformation. And here you are collaborating with the data engineer. You are not taking the responsibility of doing any kind of coding change or any kind of setting change. An expert data engineering team is doing that, and they are also identifying the challenges, and they are also giving you a report like these are the potential issue they will face. So you are actually giving a part of the project to another team and also taking their feedback, how they are going to do these things. Or if it is your domain of expertise, then you are also involving in this work. So you need to gather some more information from this third party, like what kind of automation scripting they are using, are they reliable in terms of data transfer, and how they are validating that all data is transferred properly, and how they are assuring that it is accurate. So as a mediator or middleman, you are just clear about the process and you are informing the stakeholder about the process, so that the stakeholder are not in a darker side, that they don't know exactly what is going on behind the scene. So this integration and quality assurance is the responsibility of a technical project manager. So he is a knowledgeable person about all the vendor or third party that is involved in the project. and he is aware of the complexity risks, and this is how he is going to manage the critical risks of the project. Obviously, in all the complex technical project right now, they have some sort of bottlenecks, and data migration is one of them. Very few companies are there who are going to build their project from paper based documentation to paperless. Now all companies are almost digital, and they already have an existing application, and they want to add some additional feature top of that. So probably you will need to do this kind of data migration at a project. So here you are getting opportunity to share your technical expertise, technical understanding for answering this question. It doesn't matter really whether you have faced this kind of challenge or not. Matter is that you can present a real challenge in front of the potential employer, and you can explain it well using your own understanding, and that should be aligned to the technical feasibility, because you cannot talk like a scientific fiction. That should be very much accurate. So throughout the project, I maintain a clear, consistent communication with the stakeholder, including the uh, IT team. So basically, a project manager is responsible for the communication part of the project, who is aware and taking the responsibility to keep the whole project team aware. So how you are overcoming those challenges? The challenges is like you maintain a zero downtown, sorry, downtime, not downtown. So it means like you your experience actually, your proper communication actually a key factor here. At every phases you analyze the risks, and you are already prepared for this kind of this point of this project, and parallel you have done it so smoothly that it has a significant impact in the scalability of the project, and client is happy with this zero downtime. So it was a successful project. There was no complaint from the customer side who said that due to this transition we miss our payment or something like that, or if there is any little bit of issues, then these issues were addressed and fixed. So this is how you can maintain this is how you can maintain the challenges, and challenges are always welcome for any IT related project. So great, that is definitely a very good technical explanation what you have done. Now the next question is, how do you ensure that your team meets the deadline, especially when you are working in a tight schedule? So here the points are very simple. I think if you understand the point, you can explain it very well. First, there should be a very detailed planning, and in planning you are also mentioning which part is very important. So you are prioritizing all those section when you are making your work breakdown. So keep the milestone realistic. Do not over promise your client that you are going to deliver A, B, C, D within week number one. Why? Because keep some sort a little bit of time in hand. Maybe maybe your team will face some sort of challenges. So set a clear, realistic goal for this, and when you are prioritizing the tasks, you can meet the deadline. And it is also important to allocate the right resource for the right job and maintaining their workload. Probably there is a very experienced guy in your team who is very expert in coding, but you are giving him so much pressure or so much workload that he is not capable to deliver as per his strength. So in that case, you have to allocate the resources properly, so that they can deliver their 100%. Don't expect that somebody is going to deliver you 150 or 180% because they are very experienced and very fast in their work. So keep the goal realistic for every team members. And next, also practice some sort of agile mentality, where in an agile practice you are giving more priority to the people. So what is your stakeholder saying, and you are maintaining some short sprint, and in every sprint you are learning some new things, and you are utilizing that new knowledge to the next sprint. So that is how you can do fast. And daily stand up is very important. Why? Because through daily stand up you can understand the backlog, you can understand the roadblocks, and that is how you can inform your stakeholder more about their progress. And be proactive in risk management, because identifying the risks earlier is a very important skill for any project manager. So when you are deep studying the scope, the requirement, and the outcome, you can identify the risks based on your experience level, based on your research. So always keep some sort of contingency plan for the risks. If something goes wrong, then there is something there for a contingency. Like if there is no power cut, then there is a generator available for maintaining the work hour. It generally happen in third world country or any part of the world. Generally not happen in US. I never seen a power cut here, but this is a contingency plan. There are many other contingency plan. Maybe your main lead developer is going for a vacation, or he has a wedding plan in next month. So what is your contingency plan to for replacing that person? Who is going to do his stuff? So these are very important. And clear communication, obviously, a very important part. And clear communication also means a regular communication. You are maintaining a very clear communication. Your emails are very nice, very precise, but you are very late in answering the email, or you are not responding very quickly. That is also not a good communication. And monitoring the progress, monitoring the adjustment, and most important thing is motivating the team. You have to motivate the team for the focused output, because deadline, you are always demanding deadline to your team, but that is important. As well as if there is any confusion, if somebody is not aware of the deadline, it is project manager responsibility to inform that person that this is a time bound project and we have to complete it within this time frame. And one more important thing is continuous improvement. How you can learn from your previous experience. If there was a process that was time taking, you maintain, you learned a new lesson from that process. So how to improve this process, so that you can keep an eye on the deadline and you can meet it on time. So the next question is, what is the effective so that is definitely an effective strategy for maintaining a tight schedule. So how do you prioritize the tasks and manage multiple projects simultaneously? Generally, if a company is hiring you for a project manager, there will be multiple number of project. It is not like one or two project you are doing. So in that case, how you are going to manage multiple tasks, that is very important. So here business goal is very important, like which particular project is giving you maximum amount of revenue in terms of maintaining your team. Not only that, how you have promised that stakeholder, like you have promised 1 month deadline and it is like halfway and you have completed only 25% of the project, then you have to give more priority to this project because you promised 1 month, you are halfway of the month and your percentage is like 25%. So this project will get more priority. So you can make a list of all tasks and make different set of those tasks, like one which is very urgent and it will give you more revenue. Okay, number two, which is easier and you can do it easily, it will not take too much time, you can defer that work a little. And where you need a little bit more research, you don't know exactly how much time it will require, you can give second priority to that kind of tasks. So analyze the priority, urgency, and hardness or difficulties. And some tasks are very easy, not so time taking. So depending on those attribute, you can shuffle those tasks like your cards. Now you know how to play your cards. Are more most urgent, more deadline is coming soon, it will get more priority. Less urgent, easier tasks, it will get less priority. Very simple. Now whatever is your plan, that should be on pen and paper, that means on your project management system, and delegate the right kind of people for those tasks. Otherwise if you are hiring someone very new who has no experience and expecting he is going to do it on time, because of your pressure, work pressure and acceleration, you cannot accelerate the project like this. Whenever there is a roadblock, as a project manager, sit with the team, sit with the stakeholder, find out what we can do to meet the deadline, so that we can make a significant progress, because your project must goes on, shows must goes on at more any situation. So that sounds like a good organized plan. Now the next question is how to handle some conflict in a project, especially when you are facing some different opinion from different people. Your development team is saying something, your stakeholder is saying something, and it's a kind of conflict situation. So how to handle those kind of conflict situation? So it is better to identify the reason of the conflict earlier, as soon as possible, and whenever there is a conflict arise, acknowledge that as a project manager. Say that we are apologizing for this kind of interruption or any kind of dissatisfaction first. Now I am trying to understand exactly what happened so that I can find out a solution of this problem. That is the approach of a good project manager. Listen to the stakeholder. What is their problem? Maybe they are correct, maybe they are wrong. That is not the issue. The issue is that are you listening actively and taking note of all the points he or she is describing. Now handling conflict in a project team is a different kind of skills, and that proves how well you are in project management. So here you can improve the productivity, or you can create a chaotic moment or chaotic atmosphere because of the low experience level. So it is a very difficult skill. So first thing, identify and acknowledge the problem. Then if you identify it early, you can create a new plan, and it will reduce the tension between the tech team and non-tech team. So how you can change this chaotic moment to a collaborative environment, that is the skill. When you are noticing any kind of conflict, first of all, creating an environment where everyone has a time to speak out their heart. Like you are giving a little bit of moment to every both side so that they can explain what is their point of view. Okay, so this is first thing. Next thing is keep the communication open for both sides, where they are actually describing their ideas, or they are not. Sometimes it happens that one side of these two team, like the tech team and the stakeholder, are actually overlooking or ignoring a very common area, or there is a blind spot in this conversation which is like not identified by both sides, and both sides are uh, creating an atmosphere that we are not agreeing this, we are not liking this. So finding out those blind spot or the point that is not clear. So clarification is very important here. So here the most important thing is stay calm, cool, and natural. Don't take it like a personal problem and focusing it on in a bias situation, like taking the side of a developer team, like, okay, I am employed by developer team, so I'm going to take the developer side. It is not like that. Or okay, customer is paying me, so I am going to or stakeholder is paying me, so I'm going to take the stakeholder side. Don't be biased at this moment, and your role is to facilitate a conversation environment where both team can find out a common ground. Generally you are playing the role of a mitigator. So when a mitigator sit between two person, he create an environment so that both person can listen to each other, both person can understand to each other. Probably you don't need to say anything. When both sides are clear, they can find out a solution. You don't need to take a decision there, but you are the person as a project manager creating this environment, and you are also helping them to find out the root cause of the problem. So when there is a problem, ask one question, and based on the answer, ask the second question with another why. Say something was happened, something goes on, the project was not delivered on time, or it was not live on a particular date or time. Ask a why question, why it was happened. So we will get an answer. Based on that, ask another why to that question, to that answer. So when it will ask at least 5 why question, that is called the root cause analysis. When you will ask a 5 or 3 4 5 why question, you can find out the root cause of the issue. And root cause analysis is always helpful for any kind of conflict management. That is very important. And one more thing, be focused on goal. Sometimes a conflict arises and that conflict has no relation with the project goal. So if it is not aligned to project goal, and you are wasting time on mitigating this conflict, sometimes it is not acceptable. So focus on the project goal, clarify the team on stakeholder that it is not related to project goal. So we are not going to give it importance. We can talk it later or not at this stage. So that will reduce some sort of friction between two sides. So you will explore all the possible compromise and collaborative environment so that both sides can stay on same page. Is it possible to give some little bit of more features so that stakeholder is happy with the developers performance? Or is it possible to reduce some of the feature for so that developer can meet the deadline? So try to find out the compromise point where we can find out a solution. And it is very important to take right decision at that moment, and that decision should be anonymous, like decision should be accepted by both sides. You are taking your own decision and placing it like a order in a project table. It is not accepted sometimes. You have to make happy both sides. And also build a positive atmosphere and positive mindset among the team members. That is also important. As a project manager, you understand how to read people mindset. You need to understand what is problem solving mindset, and that is how we can face the challenge, and that is how you can grow your team. So fostering a positive mindset, problem solving attitude is a culture, and a project manager can implement these in a team by doing very good teamwork for years and years, and that is how a team grows. And conflicts and um, frictions, these are part of the project management. So when you are maintaining this collaborative environment, it will be frictionless. Now the last question is, this is how you have to impress the employer with actual point of view, not like a fancy word that is written in a very academic or project management book. You have to show that you really have the potential and experience to deliver the project. Now, how to ensure that the final product meet the client expectation and quality standard? So this is about a question about validation and verification. This is a question about how well you tested the product. It is not only the work of the testing team who are dedicated for as a tester. It is also a responsibility of a project manager. So number one, that you thoroughly tested the project before the delivery. Number two, you are well versed about the documentation because you prepared the documentation, so you know the specification very well. Sometimes it happens somebody else prepared the documentation, but you have read every word and full stop and punctuation of this document, so that you have a clear idea about this, and you are also making sure that the document was initially approved by the client, and you know the matrices on what basis the scope is approved, or the scope will be approved by the client. So you are totally aware of the quality standard of the work. You are definitely checking that the product you have delivered is a quality product. Sometimes in an enterprise level project, it is not possible to look and check every feature of the application as a project manager in just one day or 1 hour or a short period of time. So you have to do it continuously, and you have to keep record of all those testing, so that end of the day your project management software is telling where you put your notes and how your numbers are telling you the fact. Because when your numbers are not telling you the truth, you cannot prove that you did a very fantastic job for the project. So it is very important to be to maintain an agile approach. So agile methodology is a different knowledge area. Maybe we'll need a different blog on or video on agile. So by delivering small increment, and in each increment you are testing that properly, you and gathering the feedback, you can build up a very positive mindset or a very positive response from the stakeholder. And it is very important that user acceptance testing, although user acceptance testing is a very simple testing for the sorry about the background noise, the very simple about simple test for the QA testers. But as a project manager, you are actually looking at this report, how these QA tests are done, and whether the product is aligned to the customer requirement or not. So training part is also important. You are properly training the end customer and who are using this product, and this is a part of post delivery. And sit with the stakeholder and find out how you can do some little bit more improvement at the next phase of the project. If client is interested to maintain a continuous improvement in the project. So this is how you can also expand the business of the company, and this is how you can also improve your relevancy in the project. Now the next question, and it is the last question: can you describe a time when you had to manage a project that involved cross-functional team, and how you coordinate with different departments? Now I think I already answered that, but here, as a project manager, when you are dealing with a cross-functional team, you are totally aware of the responsibility of different role and and your expectation. Like, you are not a very good designer, but you are working with a designer. You know the responsibility of the designer and what is expectation from the designer. When he is presenting a mock-up or wireframe as a mock-up of the app or the website, as a project manager, you can tell that, okay, this is a design that client is looking for. Number one, this is a design that is industry standard, and this is a design that is error free, and this is a design is actually meeting the business goal. Now, are you a designer as a project manager? No. Do you have the skill set of creative suit, like making a nice wireframe or etc.? Answer is no. But you are maintaining that quality because you research on the design trend, you research on the scope of the project, and you are aware of the business goal. So that means from your research, you are judging somebody else's work and giving your feedback and input for improving that. So this is how you are going to work with a person who is UI designer or a graphics designer. Now, when it is a cross-functional team, there will be someone who is expert of the coding, or there will be someone who is expert of the testing. So in that case, you have to uh, develop a mindset that you are actually a person who is a good listener and who can verify whether the documents are aligned to the deliverable. So you can say, you can answer this question like this: I developed a integrated project plan, and that outline the key milestone of and deliverable for each department. And when I'm looking at the work of each department, I am totally aware of their deadline and expectation. So I facilitate some meeting and some regular meeting. Like, are you sitting every day with your design team? Are you sitting every day with your coding team? So allocate some little bit of time for each team or each person involved in the project, and be open about discussing any issue that they did not understood, and you are the person who is going to explain it, or you are the person, go-to person, who is going to help them to understand the stakeholders requirement. So creating an open communication platform is very important, no doubt. And here you can use some software like Jira. Nowadays people use Slack, which is like a chatting platform for coder designer. When it is a designing related issue, you can use Adobe XD, where designer or the stakeholder can comment on various section. You can reply all those section. Now allow the team members to stay informed about this collaborative atmosphere. Like, they are free to free, and you are very creating a very friendly environment with them, so that they can reach out to you anytime when they are facing any problem. Now, it is also important to maintain the consistency of the work. So you are keeping an eye to maintain the standard of the work, looking at the quality reports. You are also creating a kind of team building activities with the people. Generally, when you are working in a collaborative environment, you are going for a coffee, in your office, and in the meantime you got a person who is like a developer, and he's asking you some question like, okay, I'm facing this kind of problem because I'm dealing with this form, and this form is sending a data to another third party. I'm trying to solve it using Ajax. I'm facing some challenges. If you have some background knowledge about doing the similar kind of tasks, if you already played the role of a developer somehow in at one stage of your life, so you can share some hints and ideas to that is going to helpful for that developer. So this is the way you will you can play a kind of a leader kind of mentality, so they will find you as a reliable person to share their problem, and that somehow indirectly help your project. You can rely on them solving the problem. So you need to be very much open-minded and ready to learn new thing when there is a new technology is coming or something is new going on. So next thing is like tracking the progress, and as you are constantly tracking the progress, you are totally understandable that where exactly we are going to face an obstacle. So address that particular person. Probably your developer is doing a very good task, but the person who is doing the testing, he is not doing his tasks very well. As a result, the developer is facing some sort of slowdown in his productivity. So in that case, you have to be very flexible to address this kind of issue, and what kind of adaptability you can take for speed up of this process. It is very important. And when there is any kind of success, it is necessary to celebrate them, because if you are a very monotonous project manager and giving many tasks to all the team member, and they are like fed up of your instruction, like do this within 1 week, do this within 1 day, or something that like that, they will be fed up with this kind of environment. So as a leader, as a project manager, you have to maintain a in a cross functional environment, you have to maintain an atmosphere where everyone is getting a kind of good reward and recognition for their work. Celebrate them. Why not you arrange a team meeting and tell the designer you did a fantastic job for project A, and it is admirable. This is how client has admired your work. You are doing really good job. Keep it up. So creating a kind of positive vibes is very important as a project manager. As long as you are not maintaining that vibes, people will feel very bored about your attitude at work. You are not like a circus master where you have a hunter and you are telling a lion jump into the fire. So it is not like I'm a project manager, so I am the boss and other people who are working under me are like my servant. Not like this. It is like a teamwork. You are here because the team is helping you. Team is working, that's why you are playing the role of the captain. So be a captain of the ship, but don't be like master of everyone. So that is very important in a cross-functional team. Everyone should be respected because of their skill or the experience they are bringing on the table. Your team is successful because everyone has very important skill for the project. So that mentality is very important, and that is the way you are going to explain your experience. Next question is, okay, thank you for sharing your experience. So now tell me how you maintain your communication. uh, so for communication, you can tell how you maintain communication: phone call, email, chat, Zoom call, whatever communication medium is suitable for maintaining the project collaboration is completely okay in today's world, because Working in a remote setup is a new normal for today's project management. So all kind of communication medium is good. Some people avoid using social media as a communication medium for the project because of the privacy issue. You are not going to use WhatsApp message or Facebook chat for a project management related. It should be within a very secured and reliable platforms like then Asana, Jira. These are industry standard. Okay, so it is a very common question. If the interviewer is happy with your answer and the way the employer is happy with your answer and he understand that you are a potential client, a potential project manager for the company, you will face a very common, a definite question. It is, do you have any question for us, or do you have any question for me? That is the end of the interview. No, that is not an end of the interview, and you are not going to say, no, I don't have any question. I understand all the requirement. Now, tomorrow, can I join? No, this is not the approach of answering this question. This open-ended question is very common in any interview. Probably from my experience, I am telling you, in out of 10 interview, the question the employer is going to ask this question in 9 interview. Do you have any question for me? Now, when you are getting this kind of question, first of all, you say, thank you for the opportunity to discuss my experience and approach, because you have told a many story about yourself. Now it is time to ask question to the interviewer. So first of all, it is important to ask at least 2 3 questions. It is not necessary to answer a long list of questions that you prepared from your home, and you are just asking one by one, because interviewer has no time to spend for that. Maybe he has already decided whether he is going to pick you or he is not going to pick you. So in that moment, ask very specific question and categorize question. That is very important. Number one, about the team dynamics, you can ask a question. Can you tell me more about the team structure and the department I will be collaborated with? Now, this question is about the team dynamics. When he is going to answer this, you will understand how they are working, what is their team structure. So this question is to understand their team dynamics, and if it is aligned to the workflow, you can understand the workflow of this company better. Now listen this answer actively. Do not wait that, okay, let him answer, then I am going to fire another answer, another question. So listen it actively, because interviewer, the employer is going to see your body language, how you are actually responding to these conversation. And when you are a people like me, like my native language is not English, so in that case you have to be very clear to understand each and every word of the employer. Now next is, you can ask another question like, what project management tool and methodology does your organization currently use? So here you are clear about the process, how they manage their process. You can also ask a question like, what are the some key challenges or priorities for the team I will be involved. Like you are asking the question, what kind of challenge I am going to face in your company, something like that. Not ask like this, what are the challenges of your company, tell me. No, ask politely and tell these, what are the some challenges that I am going to face. And you can also ask the question, how do I measure the success of my project? What are the key milestone or key performance index for measuring the success of the organization? So you can also ask, what is the opportunity I will get for my professional growth or professional development in this organization? So generally company HRs are very aware of this kind of fact, and they will tell you a long list like our company provide XYZ facilities, our company has training facilities. So whatever they are telling, listen them. If you have any doubt, do not longer this conversation, because they will try to finish it at this point. So I think, guys, this is a helpful video for you if you are preparing for project management role. And good luck, and see you guys in another episode. Until then, take care. Goodbye.